Hey, what's up, folks? Here, it's January 8th. This is a really special day. This is Earth Rotation Day. Yep, you heard it. Earth's Rotation Day. January 8th commemorates the day that French physicist Leon Foucault supposedly demonstrated the rotation of the Earth. You see, according to the heliocentric model, which, hey, Foucault must have proved it at some point, right? Says that the Earth is rotating and tilted on its axis at 23.5 degrees. Now, me personally, I don't really buy into the whole idea that the Earth is rotating at all, mainly because of my experience. I mean, I only experienced the Earth is flat and stationary, but I'd like to think that if the Earth were moving, I'd know it. But anyway, there's other reasons why I don't really buy into it. And one, that Foucault pendulum, that kind of needs a push from time to time. And then that makes me think about other aspects of nature where we drive past cranes. It's not constantly swinging. You think about a wrecking ball. You ever seen a junkyard where there's a wrecking ball just kind of suspended? Is it swinging because of the Earth's rotation? No. Another reason why I don't buy into the whole concept of the Earth rotating is commercial flights. Well, what do I mean? Flights from the West Coast to the East Coast, flights from the East Coast to the West Coast typically take about the same amount of time. Now, if the Earth were rotating eastward, flights from the West Coast to the East Coast would be a physical impossibility, and flights from east to west, well, I mean, they would be cut in to a fraction of the amount of time that they normally take. But you see, I've flown a lot from Seattle to Houston, and I've flown a lot from Houston to Seattle, and typically the flights take right about the same amount of time. And how's that work if the ground's moving beneath the airplane? A device that flies through the air over a plane. What should we call that? But back on to this whole not being able to feel it thing. This is where I hear the globe believers say, oh, you can't feel it because the atmosphere is rotating with us. Stop it. There's no proof of that. And if you can come up with some proof, please bring it. I mean, because the story that we're told is that the Earth is spinning and the Earth is orbiting around the sun. The sun's pulling the whole solar system along through space with it. Not only that, the whole Milky Way galaxy's moving and we can't perceive any motion at all. And then they come out and say, no, the Earth's so big, you wouldn't feel it anyway. Actually, no. Kind of goes in the opposite direction. Now, if you've ever been on a merry-go-round, then you would know that once the merry-go-round starts to spin, if you stand in the center of it, you're not going to be as affected by the force, okay? There's going to be that centrifugal force that's going to be pulling you towards the outside and ultimately going to fling you off of that merry-go-round. You know, you see guys take a motorcycle and they spin the merry-go-round really fast, and what happens to the people on the outside? Oh, they're holding on for dear life, and ultimately, they get flung off of that thing. Now, the guy in the center, he's probably got a better chance of staying on the merry-go-round because he's not as affected by centrifugal force. But that's the way it goes, okay? So if the Earth is so huge, wherever you're spinning from the center, now if you're at the North or South Pole, which is tilted at 23.5 degrees on its axis, then you're not going to experience as much spin. But if you're a little further towards the equator, you're probably going to feel the force of the spin a little bit more. But I've been pretty close to the equator. Been to a few islands down there, pretty close to the equator. Didn't feel any spin. And if the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator and you move further north or south of the equator, the spin supposedly slows down. But at the same time, let's say it's like 780 miles per hour. Know what kind of winds you would experience at 780 miles per hour? Okay, this place will be chaotic. Now, here you can see a guy having to deal with 100 mile per hour wind. Guy can barely walk. Guy can barely stay on his feet. Okay, this is 100 miles per hour. We're talking about 700 plus mile per hour, 1,000 plus mile per hour winds at the equator. We wouldn't be able to exist on such a chaotic planet. other reasons why you can tell that the Earth is stationary and that, I don't know, everything else in the sky is moving. Well, I mean, just take a look at this time lapse. I did quite a few time lapses last year, and in this one you can tell my camera is stationary in one spot on the beach, and I'm just watching the clouds move, watching the sun move, and it's pretty obvious that the sun and the clouds are moving. But wait a minute, according to the globe model, we're told that the sun isn't moving and that the earth is moving. So wait a minute, the clouds are moving, but the sun isn't? Really? But back to this whole situation of me interpreting my reality using my God-given five senses to navigate where I live. My experience tells me that the earth is stationary. I've spent some time sitting next to a lake, just relaxing, drinking some tea, taking in the scenery next to a lake while it's got the whole mirror look in the background, which is also not possible if water is supposedly bending, but that's on another topic, I suppose. But how exactly is the lake able to stay so calm with all this movement? I guess that makes you crazy to trust your own senses to interpret reality. Maybe, maybe not. But maybe, just maybe, the reason why you don't experience the earth moving is because it's not. That's all I got for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you haven't already, be sure to click the bell to get notifications when I upload a new video. As always, be good to each other. Take care of yourself. And stay flat. I'll see you next time. Thank you.